start of a new week here this week, and you get a chance to it's a little bit of the week starts crazy right when there's a vacation, so you kind of get out of routine a little bit, but it's a chance to kind of celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. So it's something that hopefully everybody remembers, everybody takes time to think about, but also doesn't just stop it today, right? We continue to think about everything he's done to try and help people come together. I think that's the biggest thing, and his legacy is still trying to everything that he was fighting for, we're still trying to do. So using today to think about that. We also get a chance to, there's afternoon basketball games, no school, everything else. So there's a lot going on, but wanted to make sure that I touched on that. We got another big week for us, and it's hard in this league to look past one game because of how crazy all of these games have been in this league. So, but you have a tough challenge at Wisconsin tomorrow, and then you get a chance to finally play a Saturday home game in conference versus Nebraska on Saturday, which they both should be great challenges for us. You don't. I don't look at records. I don't look at what people have done. I don't look at how they're playing. Wisconsin's a good team, right? They're a good team, and it doesn't matter if they've lost 3 or 4 games in a row. It doesn't change who they are, right? They might not be playing great right now, but all it takes is one game to flip that for anybody in this conference. So, that's going to be a challenge for us. And then the same thing with Nebraska is, I don't know, one of the things that about college basketball is things change quickly. So whatever you may feel about who Nebraska is or what Nebraska basketball is about in the last since they've joined the Big Ten, right, doesn't necessarily hold true when they come in here on Saturday. Right? They're capable of beating just about anybody. I actually watch a lot of their games because I love how Fred coaches. I love how he plays offense. I like his team. I like the pieces that they have. So, and they came in here and blew our doors off last year. So we had a great challenge, great week, and our guys we better be ready for it. We better be ready for it.
Hey, Micah, how are you?
I'm great.
How much does Evan's emergence kind of change things for you guys down the stretch, and how maybe does it change it from what you were anticipating it being and what the rotation was going to look like before it?
Yeah, I don't know. It changes just because we can use him in a lot of different ways. It gives you, more versatility. I think as we try and recruit, as we try and build a program, versatility is one of the key things that we're looking for, right? We obviously need skill, but we need versatility. We need skill in a bigger, longer, more athletic package. So Evan's kind of the first of the group to be that. So he allows us to do more. He allows us to move him around offensively and defensively. I didn't have anything set hey, we're going to play this group, we're going to do that. We still do it by feel. Who's on the court for them, how we match up, who gives us the best chance to score and get stops. He just gives us another weapon that can do that. So, he's been playing great. We need him to continue to play at that level, at a high level, because he's just adding more and more to our team.
Mark. Micah, what do you make of the Big Ten this year? You've been around the conference a long time, and to see this sort of parity, and then how much importance that put on every single game, no matter who you're playing.
Yeah, it just, every night is a challenge. Obviously, Purdue's kind of put themselves head and shoulder above everybody right now, literally, with Zach in there. But like everybody else is really fighting, really battling, really competing. There's not a night where you're like, all right, we can take our foot off the gas tonight because this will be an easy win. Like as soon as you do that, like Minnesota goes and beats Ohio State, right? Or whoever it may be. Like you're gonna get beat if you're not ready to play. You're gonna be if you don't play the right way, if you don't compete the right way, if you don't have the right frame of mind. Like you're gonna lose. And like the league's always been really competitive, but where it is right now, it goes back to what I was talking about with Nebraska, right? Like, I've been in the league for a long time. There were points and times in this league where you were like, all right, Penn State, Nebraska, Minnesota, they're going to be at the bottom. Northwestern, they're going to be at the bottom, right? You look at standings right now, all of these teams are in the mix, in the middle, and winning games, right? So now, like, when do you catch your breath? You don't. You catch it when we caught it, when we had a weekend off. That's when you catch your breath. But, like, you got to come every single night and be ready to play, or you're getting beat. And that, like, that's a testament to the coaching in this league. It's a testament to the players, the atmospheres that you're going into. I'm watching Rutgers yesterday, and that place was unbelievable. I'm watching that game and how loud it was, and how, like, I'm watching Nebraska on the road when Illinois went there, when Purdue was there. That place is unbelievable. Northwestern had a great crowd when they had somebody here, forget who it was, that they beat them at home. But they had a great crowd. Like, you're going into places. Like, we're going to go into Buzzsaw tomorrow night. Like, every place you go, the coaches are great. The atmosphere is great. And you got to step your game up in this league this year, right? Like me, our players, our fans, everybody's got to step their game up.
So James Franklin was asked a few weeks ago kind of about watching the college football playoff games, and he responded that as a coach, you can't just enjoy the games. He's always having to take notes and look at it, as a coach. For you personally, what's that process like for you when you can watch, say, Indiana and Wisconsin over the weekend where you had a team you just played and then an upcoming opponent?
Yeah, if we're not playing them, right, like, I watch that game because, I got an eye for Wisconsin because that's our next opponent. But, I'm watching Rutgers and Ohio State just as a fan. Like, I don't have any hobbies. Like, basketball's my hobby, too. So, I watch a lot of basketball as a fan. I pick up a lot of stuff, too. I'm watching the replay of Xavier and Marquette last night. And, I got to get out of bed and go grab my notepad because I see a couple things that could help us. But no, I'm a fan. I can tell you with 100% fact that I can unplug. I can definitely unplug and get away from it. Right? Like you have to, or you're gonna drive yourself crazy. I'm a basketball fan. I don't have anything else going on in my life, my family, and then I watch hoops, and I enjoy it, and it's pretty cool with me.
What you seemed relieved for the break after the game on Wednesday. What were your objectives for this interim for the team? Was it just catching your breath?
Yeah, physically as well. Not for me physically, because I'm actually not doing anything. But we played the hard game on Sunday, and then we had to bus back, so we didn't get home until late. we practiced on Monday and Tuesday, right? And then we had to play again. So, like, some of these guys are playing a lot of minutes, like that. They didn't take a break. They didn't have a load. Like, I added to their load by practicing on Monday and Tuesday the way that we did. So we needed these days off. So, you know, we took Thursday off. Friday we came back and did some skill stuff, but some of the high minute guys, I didn't have them do anything, right? They needed 2 days to, like, rest and recover to get ready for this. We don't have this anymore. Now it's two games a week pretty much for the rest of the season. So we needed these 2 to, like, recharge, fully recover, and then once we got back to it, get ready for Wisconsin, like prepare for how we needed to play, the juice we needed to go in there and try and get a win. We had to get back physically, you know, everything we needed to try and be 100% going into this.
Hi, Micah, how are you?
Good.
So going up against Wisconsin, you know, who doesn't really turn the ball over, very similar to you guys, how important is it for you guys to keep winning the turnover battle?
Yeah, it's key, because you look at, you know, the turnover battle's huge, and if you look in our league, there's a lot of teams right there. Us, Wisconsin, I think Iowa's in there pretty high, Purdue's pretty high. That's really important. The thing where we don't make up ground is we don't get very many offensive rebounds, right? So we can't turn the basketball over because we need attempts. We need shot volume. We need, you know, an amount of field goal attempts. So that's our way of maximizing the attempts that we get. So it's going to be really important. The thing that in this game that's really important is if you've never played Wisconsin before, if you've never gone up against them, you watch their defense and you're like, yeah, they're basic, right? Heels on the three-point line, they're solid, they're disciplined, they're really active with their hands, they're really active getting steals. You drive it, somebody's swiping at it, right? Somebody's poking it from behind. Like, they force people into turnovers. So they've played 6 conference games. Indiana had 8 turnovers against them, and they're the only team that hasn't had double figures turnovers against Wisconsin this year. Like, Minnesota had 20. Iowa had like 14, you know, Illinois, Michigan State, all of them were double-figure turnovers, right? So, like, they're a very, very active defensive team. And if you don't play, if you're not physical offensively and don't take care of the basketball, that's where they flip it on you. So we got to be good at taking care of it. We got to maximize our field goal attempts this game.
Like, playing off what Nate asked, sort of, how often do you get the chance to self-scout and, like, really in-depth self-scout? And when can you sort of trust a sample size, right, that says, okay, this is an indication of who we are rather than just a trend or a blip on the radar?
Yeah, I get, you know, we use somebody for analytics, so he sends me maybe every 5 or 6 games a report of our team. You know, I watch, you know, right away. Like, when the games are over, I watch our team, right? I'm watching us to see what we did, how we need to get better, you know, what we went into the game thinking about, how to, you know, we do it or not do it, right? So, you know, I watch the game usually a couple of times before we get to the next practice, so I have an idea of what, you know, how to plan that practice, how we need to get better, who we're playing next, and how we need to adjust in that. But then I also look at those, you know, I get a report after every game of what we did, and then I get one every few games. So I just got our kind of report, 17-game report that I look at. And sometimes I share it with our team, sometimes I don't, keep it to myself, and I try and plan practice in that way of here's where we're lacking, here's where we need to get better. So, you know, I do a decent amount of it, where it's not all just scouting, preparing for the next game. So I think it's important because it's still, right, it's still moving into mid-January, but it's still early in the season that you still have to focus on yourself. You still have to keep getting better.
Coach, Cam Winter had a really good game against Indiana and was second on the team in plus minus at plus 20. What does he bring to the court offensively and defensively that maybe doesn't show up in the box score?
I thought he was much more aggressive, both ends of the court. Right, and, he spent a lot of time watching film with Coach Fisher in between Purdue and Wisconsin, or Purdue and Indiana, and then just talking to him about, here's what we need from you, here's what we're not getting, right? Here's how you can be better in those areas, and I thought he was. Like he got back to being aggressive, to attacking, and that's what we needed. Like we got stagnant for a little bit offensively, so he's another guy that gives us somebody that has the ability to get in the paint, to get paint touches, to force the defense to collapse, where he can start our offense with kickouts, with attacks to the rim in that way. So that was really helpful, and we need him to keep playing like that. We wanted to try and put a little more pressure on Jalen Hood-Schifino because he's a really good player. And Cam gave us that, picked him up a little bit, pressured him a little bit, got him, tried to get him a little bit uncomfortable before he came off of the pick and rolls where he's really good. So he's got to be able to do it again. Right? He's got another challenge in Chucky Hepburn, who's a really good player. This is kind of the engine for them when they're playing really well. Chucky's playing really well. So he's got to, him, Pickett, Kanye, whoever, they all got a tough task with Chucky.
Micah, with Cam, it looked like he was a lot more assertive out there against Indiana. As a coach, how do you coax that out of a player, or how do you coach that ability to be assertive?
Yeah, he had it. These dude scored 1,600 points before he got here. But sometimes, it's hard when you go from something and you're really comfortable, and now you come to something that's brand new and it's different, and maybe the way I coach is different than how Coach Spiker coaches at Drexel, and how we do things and how we want things. So sometimes it takes a little bit of time to figure that out, and while you're doing that, you forget what makes you really good. Right? Like, you want to stay on the floor, you want to do what the coach says. But sometimes it's like, hey, man, I just need to go, right? I just need to beat my man and get into the paint right here. I just need to do this. And that's the hardest thing, for somebody new with me right now. I want you to execute offensively what we need to get done. Also, don't want you to be a robot. Don't want you to go make plays when it's time to go make plays. So there's a balancing act of man, we're supposed to be doing this, but this guy's guarding me this way. Should I break this off and go try and score? Should I do this and try if he gets out of his own head, I think thinking hurts us all, especially us that aren't as smart. And I'm not saying Cam's not as smart, but I'm not. So thinking really hurts me. So he's probably thinking too much instead of just hooping.
Last question.
Micah, you mentioned last week after the game that you kind of did a self-reflection of how you handled the few days, not to get all eighth-dimensional chess, but how do you think you handled it even further away now, and what has changed about you since then, and how are you kind of navigating those maybe ups and downs of even practices that wasn't how you handled it before?
Yeah. I haven't really handled it that much different, right? I just got to go back to how I am most of the time, right? I got to keep my focus on our team, and that's the biggest thing right there. And I probably went through that game and didn't say a word to any of those officials out there. Don't even know if there could have been 3 guys out there. There couldn't have been 3 guys. I have no idea, right? But it didn't matter what they did. I wanted to focus to stay on our guys. And, we're going to go in a tough atmosphere, and it's going to be hard to win at Wisconsin. But it's not impossible, right? We can do it if we play the right way. But I need to keep my focus on that, right? Our team needs to be focused, that we need to be poised and calm in the face of the storm or in the eye of the storm. And, you know, I need to help them do that. So I need to be that myself. So knowing that going in, just trying to keep the focus on that, trying to keep the focus on here's what we need to do to be at our best tomorrow night to come out there with a win. And that's it. And there's going to be stuff that happens in that game that, you know, I'm probably not going to like or agree with. But, like, you know, how can I help Pickett be better? How can I help Andrew Funk be better? Keba, you know, Evan, who've never gone into Madison, Wisconsin and played in front of that, you know, sea of red up there. So, you know, how do I help those guys stay calm, stay confident, so we can go up there and you know, hopefully fight our way to a win?